Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another tech review. Today I've got the ASUS ROG Ally to talk about. Now if you don't know what this is, imagine a Nintendo Switch or a Steam Deck, but if they ran Windows 11. That's basically what it is. It's essentially a handheld gaming PC. You take it anywhere and you can play all the games you're used to on a PC, but just handheld. Seems great, right? But at 900 Canadian dollars, is it good enough? Let's find out. Let's start off with the design. It's a white plastic body with a screen in the middle, controllers on either sides, and 2 back buttons. Now I gotta say, I really like the design. It looks amazing in my opinion. I'm always a fan of white tech. It looks so clean. It's also got some nice accents around it here and there, and with the RGB around the joysticks, it just looks so good. But speaking of looks, the display that you're going to be looking at is a 7-inch 120Hz 1080p panel, which I gotta say looks really nice. It's smooth, the colors are great as well. I couldn't see anything wrong about this display. Now I wouldn't really play outside if it's too bright because the brightness for the display is only 500 nits max. So essentially it's not that good for outdoors, but indoors it's great. Response time also seems fine enough for me. It's 7 milliseconds, but it's not that bad. Honestly, you're not going to be playing competitive on this handheld console anyway, so response time should not be an issue. Did you hear that? Where's that coming from? Oh, the speakers. They're fine. They're fine. I mean, nothing super impressive, but they get pretty loud for indoors, and they're just some good, decent speakers. Around the console, you've also got USB-C, which is great because it's used by so many devices. You could literally, theoretically, have only one charger for everything, which is why a lot of tech people love USB-C. But also next to it, there's a headphone jack as well as the ASUS mobile interface. If you ever want to hook up to an external GPU for more power, that connector is there. Not too heavy either at 608 grams. I think design-wise, this is a really good built console. It doesn't feel cheap, and it's nice. This is a gaming console. Let's talk about the main thing. This is supposed to be good at gaming, right? Let's see how it performs. Now, here's the main advantage when it comes to this system and running games. It has Windows 11. So you can load up any game launcher like Steam, Blizzard, Battle.net, any one of those launchers, you could just load it up. You don't have to worry about a proprietary OS like the Nintendo Switch. You've just got Switch games. The Steam Deck, you can only do what's on Steam. But since this runs Windows, you could put any game launcher, which is why this is so good. It also comes with a software called Armory Crate, which lets you customize a bunch of settings like having the stats on, changing between controller or desktop mode. It's essentially the hub of where you can see all your games and settings for this device. It's also got modes like Silent, Performance, and Turbo. Silent lowers the power given to the Allies so it runs quieter, cooler, and gives you the best battery. Then we have Standard, which raises that power level so it will run a bit better, gives you more FPS at a slightly worse battery life and temperature. Turbo gives it all of the power and it does not care about the battery. The main task is to give you the best performance. Now the ASUS ROG Ally has got an AMD Z1 APU, so a CPU and GPU combined, as well as it has 16 gigs of RAM and Wi-Fi 6E. So it's got the latest specs. It's good. So I played a bunch of games on this, but let's take Fortnite as our base. Now with silent mode on, I was able to play with an average of 11 to 15 FPS with a temperature at around 50 Celsius. On performance, it was an average FPS of 40 to 50, and the temperature was around 60 Celsius. Then lastly, with turbo, I got an average of 55 to 65 FPS with a temperature of 75 Celsius. I think you can see the pattern here. And I'll talk about the battery with each of these settings a bit later. Seems like a perfect console, right? Good design, decent performance, what's not to like? Well, let me tell you, the advantage in Windows also turns into a little bit of a disadvantage because of its touch nature. It's so small, so you need to be able to touch properly around the OS. Now you could technically use the joysticks and buttons to navigate. Unfortunately, Windows 11 is not fully optimized for the touch format, and you end up with some issues like the buttons being really small to touch, or at times games not opening with the controller mode and then you have to close it and restart things. But honestly, these are things that can be improved with software updates, and they're just minor things. Most of the time it works good. Now, how long will these games last on a charge? On silent mode, it gets about 3 hours. On performance, it's about an hour and a half, and then turbo, it's about 50 minutes. That time obviously may go down depending on if it's a more intense game like Warzone, or it might even be better if it's like a lower intensive game like Fall Guys. But honestly, this kind of sucks. If I'm taking this out, I would like to have it last longer, but I mean, the competitors don't have the best battery life either, so it's okay. And at least you can charge this back to full in about an hour with the 65-watt charger. Okay, so to recap, it's good looking, it's got a good size, not too small, not too big, it's not too heavy, it performs well, runs games smooth with the 120Hz display, and I actually love it. While it does have some downsides with Windows and the average performance and battery life is okay, I still think it's a good console. I mean, I actually love it. It's really good for what it is. And if they fix those small issues, I think it'll be even better. But at $900, I don't know. That's literally double than the regular Switch and more than the base Steam Deck. I mean, the price is high. It's a first gen product. I get it. The price is going to be high. And at the same time, it is also more capable than the competition. Like, you can run more games than the Steam Deck. It's got more graphical power than a Switch. Personally, at $900 Canadian, I think it's still too high. Maybe $700 is more reasonable, but if you do have the money and end up getting this, I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's a good console, like I said. While it's got some shortcomings as a first-gen product, it's got a promising future for sure. All first-gen products have some shortcomings here and there. Not to say that is bad, because it's not. So that was my review. If you liked it, then hit the like button. If you loved it, then subscribe. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.